Welcome. I am so glad you're here. Now, as we dive into this explainer today, I actually want you to imagine me as Maya, the master of the core. I'll be guiding you young builders through a true fable of invention. We're going to explore a story all about gears, grit, and the absolute magic of just looking up. It's the story of a boy named Leo and how he and his friends completely changed their world. Right off the bat, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever looked at a pile of broken, rusted scraps and seen a beautiful possibility? Look around your own room for just a second. You might see old toys, broken springs, maybe some cool rocks you found outside. Most people look at those things and just see trash. But an inventor looks at those exact same pieces and sees the beginning of a brilliant uninvention. And that is exactly how our story begins. Chapter 1, The Town of Ticking Shadows. Our story starts in Oakhaven. This was a valley trapped under a featureless, incredibly heavy gray blanket of metallic smog. There was no sunrise. There were no stars. Just a dull, uniform gray. And the deafening clang chug tick of the great town clock ruled absolutely everyone's lives. When it chimed, you ate. When it chimed, you swept. When it chimed, you slept. The people actually believed that if the clock ever stopped, the world would just freeze. But while the chief timekeeper, who happened to be Leo's father, demanded strict precision, 11-year-old Leo, well, he just didn't fit that rhythm. He drifted. His pockets were heavy with smooth river stones, discarded copper springs, and dreams of a sky he had never even seen. Where his father saw a rigid iron gear, Leo saw a spinning sun. His room was a sanctuary for what he called his uninventions, these gadgets with no practical purpose at all, but full of chaotic beauty, like a mechanical butterfly with wings made entirely of autumn leaves. Chapter 2, The Spark of Curiosity. Everything shifted for him one day when Leo, who was working a really miserable job scrubbing grease in the clockworks factory, wandered away from all that deafening noise. He crept into the dark, abandoned subvaults. And there, hiding among these huge dormant boilers, he found something that didn't clang. It didn't chug. It hummed. It was this crystalline, melodic hum that sounded almost like a gentle voice rising and falling. Sitting right there on a polished stone pedestal was the prime catalyst. It wasn't attached to any motor. It simply hovered in the air, its wave-like teeth spinning flawlessly, shifting colors from deep sapphire to fiery copper. When Leo got closer, it actually spun faster, lighting up his grease-stained face with his beautiful blue glow. That's exactly when I stepped out of the shadows. I told the boy the truth that day. I told him that this ancient gear doesn't run on steam or coal. It runs on pure imagination. It responds to the desire for things to be different. I told him that if he had the courage to build the giant machine this gear originally belonged to, we could finally pierce that miserable gray sky and see the infinite universe outside our walls. Chapter 3, Assembling the Dream Machine. You see, a true inventor doesn't just assemble parts. They dream them into a localized atmospheric disruption machine. Night after night, Leo drew vast webs of machinery on butcher paper. He realized pretty quickly he couldn't just build a giant fan. He had to mimic the natural sky using light, resonance, and thermal energy. Listen closely, my young builders, because this is basically your tutorial. He broke this complex machine down into 3 simple parts you could find anywhere. First, the prism core, which was a massive kaleidoscope of glass lenses to gather and magnify faint light. Second, the resonance bellows. Think of it as an acoustic horn system to vibrate and break that heavy smog apart. And third, the catalyst drive, the housing unit for our glowing prime catalyst to power the whole shebang. This wasn't just a machine, it was literally a poem written in iron. But Leo couldn't haul all this heavy iron up to the abandoned Skyspire Observatory by himself. So he recruited friends whose hidden talents turned everyday scraps into magic. He found Penny, a girl who wove intricate, flexible patterns into rigid factory fabrics. And he found Bram, a quiet boy who just intuitively understood the strength of buried, broken bronze. Together, they became the Fellowship of the Scraps, sneaking up the mountain night after night. Chapter 4, Solving the Great Hurdles. Now, climbing that freezing, wind-howling path up to the Skyspire was terrifying. The mountain trails were slick with black condensation. But honestly, while the climb was dangerous, the mechanical challenges of actually building the invention were way tougher. I want you to pause right here and take a guess. The heavy mountain vibrations are destroying our delicate glass prism core because the iron clamps holding it are just too stiff. How would you stop the shaking from cracking the glass? What kind of material would you use? Think about it for a second. Did you guess something soft? Or maybe stretchy? Well, Penny knew that if you fight the shaking, you break. So she actually replaced the stiff iron with flexible elastic silk, woven from mountain spiders. She created a web-like cradle. When the next tremor hit, the floor shook violently, but the fragile lenses just floated gracefully within the tremor, perfectly safe. Okay, let's try another one. Bram forged the resonance bellows out of heavy bronze, but the sound it made was way too muffled to cut through the thick air. Think about it, young makers. What simple, sharp material could you line the inside of a brass horn with to turn a muffled sound into a piercing, ringing siren? Take a guess. He used volcanic glass. Bram found long tubes of natural volcanic glass called obsidian. He shattered them into razor-sharp shards and glued them right inside the horns. The air scraping over that sharp glass transformed the muffled sound into a pure, piercing, crystalline hum, so deep it actually made the dust on the floor dance in perfect geometric rings. Incredible, right? Chapter 5: The Day the Sky Awoke. Just as this beautiful, curving bronze and silk machine was finished, disaster struck. The cold and calculating overseer Sterling caught Leo sneaking out. He seized the silver housing unit meant for the catalyst, captured Penny and Bram on the trail, and declared that the machine would be destroyed at exactly 6 o'clock the next morning. Thrown into pitch-black, freezing stone cells beneath the town clock, Leo actually wept. He thought he had failed everyone. But through the iron bars, Penny reminded him of something incredibly important. She said, "Before you, we were just machines turning thread and iron. You made us creators." In that dark dungeon, the children realized that even if the council took their parts, they couldn't uncreate the inventors they'd become. The clock was literally ticking down. I jammed the guardhouse valves with copper rivets and unlocked their cells at exactly 5:30 a.m., handing Leo the glowing catalyst. They made a desperate sprint, hijacking a giant iron ore bucket to fly straight up the sheer mountain cliff through the choking mist, crashing into the observatory with just 8 minutes to spare. But here was the final, terrifying hurdle. The silver housing unit was gone. If Leo shoved the raw, wild energy of the catalyst directly into the machine, boom, it would explode. Another pause for you here. What small, ordinary object sitting right there in Leo's pocket could bridge the gap between chaotic imagination and rigid precision? It was a broken pocket watch. Leo had saved a discarded pocket watch movement from his father. It was a standard, perfectly engineered piece of Oakhaven clockwork. By combining his father's precise, rigid gear with our wildly glowing, imaginative heart, Leo locked the two systems together with a massive, brilliant flash of blue light. As the great town clock way down below struck its final chimes, the children pulled the heavy lever. The machine roared to life. Sapphire light bled into the copper wires. The obsidian horns let out a cosmic vibrating purr that lifted the dust off the floor into zero gravity. The prism core shot a brilliant, multicolored spear of light straight up, hitting the suffocating fog and literally shattering it into a shower of floating liquid diamonds. And then, Oakhaven finally saw the sunrise. Instead of a heavy gray ceiling, the sky just tore open. A brilliant, fiery bar of gold cut across the valley, followed by a wave of deep, burning orange, soft pink, and finally, a vast, infinite dome of crystalline blue. Down below, the town clock stopped ticking because the citizens had completely stopped looking at it. They were way too busy looking up at the vibrant colors. Chapter 6: Build Your Own Uninvention. A year later, everything had changed. The giant town walls were dismantled to build a welcoming road. The factory now ran on clean kinetic resonance. And standing out on the observation deck, looking up at the very first twinkling stars, our fellowship of the scraps knew they had unlocked the whole world. Leo's father asked him where they would explore next. Leo just placed a simple river stone and a copper gear on the railing and smiled. He realized that curiosity is the engine that actually changes the world, proving that a life lived by someone else's clock isn't a life at all. The world is a story, and we are finally the authors. I want to leave you with this final thought, young builders. Look around your room right now. Notice the things others might just call junk. Value your own brilliant creativity. Grab a piece of paper and start sketching the uninventions that will build tomorrow. What beautiful, impossible machine will you dream up? I absolutely cannot wait to see it.